Have you played against the Deathwatch lately? Deathwatch-who? Oh, the bottom tier marines? Is what you might think. But what if I told you that there is more to them than meets the eye, and that they in fact can become your greatest space marine nightmare? Impossible? I say inevitable. You do not believe me? Let me present you the kind of Deathwatch gotchas that might just surprise you.
Welcome to SwissHammer, your channel for modeling in Warhammer 40k. My name is Tammer and I will be guiding you through this video.
Ever since the release of their 9th edition supplement, the Deathwatch has been a bit of an enigma, ranked anywhere from bottom to top tier, entirely dependent on who you ask. The one commonality people seem to agree on is that the supplement is a complex one. In addition to that, the faction has always had a small number of players. It is therefore no big surprise that Deathwatch does not hit tournaments as frequently as other factions. Nonetheless, over the last couple of months, Deathwatch have placed in the top 10 of several grand tournaments. If this recent trend continues, it is only a matter of time until they finally make their breakthrough in 9th edition. This guide to the greatest gotchas of the faction is aimed at both Deathwatch players as well as their opponents. For the former, it is my goal to demonstrate that we have moved on well past 8th edition, while for the latter, these are the kind of challenges you can expect to face from any modern 9th edition Deathwatch list. Before we finally get started with the first one, a quick word on the kill teams of the Deathwatch. They are by far the most prominent feature of the faction. Taking up a troop slot and therefore gaining OPSEC, Deathwatch can add models from different datasheets to basic troops like intercessors or veteran space marines. This includes Vanguard veterans, Terminators, Inceptors, Eradicators, even bikes, basically all the stuff that would otherwise be locked to different battlefield roles. This is not the actual gotcha yet, I've merely been setting the stage for what is about to follow. Gotcha number 1 is the Endometer Kill Team Castle. Its exact composition can vary a little, but expect to find 5 heavy intercessors and a mix of inceptors and aggressors. This kill team has a lot of firepower and will likely be placed to contest the midboard. They are all T5, 3 wounds with a 3-up save, as you would expect from the Gravis stats line. Aside from having access to the popular stratagem Transhuman Physiology that only lets them be wounded on a 4+, expect them to be accompanied by a trio of support characters. The captain, or sometimes the company champion, will provide them a 5+ symbol save, the librarian will provide them a 5+ feel no pain, and his backup, the chief apothecary, can provide a backup 6+ feel no pain in case the librarian fails to make his cast. In addition to this, he can also heal and bring a dead model back to life. If you are thinking about charging them, the librarian can make them hit in Overwatch on a 5+, with the flamers of the aggressors auto-hitting anyway. The kill team will then also be able to fight first, thanks to that same librarian power. If you are completely out of luck, they will be further protected by a Judiciar with the ability to heroically intervene at an extended 6-inch range and make you fight last. If you are thinking about sniping these support characters first, expect them to be protected by company veterans with storm shields and the bodyguard ability. Gotcha number 2 are the various ways for the Deathwatch to teleport around the battlefield. You might already have heard about their Teleportarium stratagem, which unlocks the teleport strike ability for a Deathwatch infantry, biker or dreadnought unit. That's right, it's not just the models you would expect to find in kill teams, but also the Dreadnoughts. Another one is the Teleport Homer, which is a Terminator war gear not unique to the Deathwatch, but combined with Proteus kill teams, it might still catch you by surprise. What it does is that you can remove a unit with the teleport homer from the battlefield, and then, in the reinforcement step of your next movement phase, you can set this unit back up on the battlefield anywhere wholly within your own deployment zone and more than 9 inches away from any enemy models, or anywhere within 3 inches of a friendly Deathwatch model and more than 9 inches away from any enemy models. A commonly used strategy is to deploy a kill team regularly, then activate the homer turn 1 to bring them back turn 2, which is fairly close to having the previously mentioned teleport strike ability. A third way to teleport is the Beacon and Chalice relic, which is commonly put on a fast unit like the Primaris Chaplain on bike or a Phobos HQ deployed through concealed positions. What it does is that it pulls a unit to the bearer of the relic. This goes as far as being able to pull a unit that's already on the board turn 1, for instance a slow Gravis kill team, or even pull a unit out of comp. Gotcha number 3 is how well Deathwatch synergizes with Dreadnoughts. While Dreadnought heavy lists are certainly not unique to the Deathwatch, they can provide a 5+ invul save to Dreadnoughts with the core keyword, for instance the popular Redemptor Dreadnought. They do this through the Dominus Aegis relic, which generates the mentioned 5+ invul bubble. They also have access to the Dark Angel's Brilliant Strategist Warlord trait through one of their own Warlord traits, which lets them cycle back one doctrine for a unit, such as one of the relic Contemptors with the twin Volkites. Combined with the Deathwatch's mission tactics, which lets them pick their doctrine order, the clever Deathwatch player can ensure that their Dreadnoughts will get the absolute maximum out of the Devastator doctrine. Oh, and as we previously covered, the Dreadnoughts could teleport strike if they wanted to. Recently, a Deathwatch list featuring 3 Redemptors and 2 Relic Contemptors has shown great success at tournaments, scoring rank 11 at the ACO and even a tournament win at the Onslaught GT. Expect to see more of these popping up. Gotcha number 4 is Infantry Bikes. Basically, whenever you are seeing Deathwatch bikers, be it the classic firstborn ones or the Primaris Outriders, expect them to interact with terrain like regular infantry. This is once more achieved through their kill teams. For as long as there is at least one infantry model present in the squad, the bikes gain the infantry keyword. Commonly seen combinations are 4 Outriders and 1 Intercessor Sergeant, or 3 to 4 veteran bikers and 2 to 1 Vanguard veterans with jump packs. Especially on the second version, the mobility is fantastic. Oh, and with them being kill teams, they are of course OPSEC. Gotcha number 5 is a random combination of popular smaller ones. For instance, a Spectre's kill team can get up to 5 Eliminators, or they can mix Infiltrators and Reavers, basically getting discounted Omni Scramblers. This has been used in tournament play before for screening out the entire backfield. Another popular combo to look out for are the Firstborn Proteus kill teams containing a Black Shield. This guy is a beefed up Deathwatch veteran with weapon skill 2+, rivaling the offensive close combat capabilities of a Space Marine captain. He can wield anything from double close combat weapons to a heavy thunder hammer, and there is a stratagem that also allows him and the entire kill team to heroically intervene. Speaking of captains, some Deathwatch players might run their captain as a so-called slash captain, in which case he'll come with a Xenophase blade ignoring invul saves. I previously mentioned the ability to borrow another chapter's warlord traits, which means this guy could for instance take the 2+ strength from the salamanders, or the beefed up attacks against monsters and vehicles from the Space Wolf's Beast Slayer. Speaking of borrowing, Deathwatch also has a stratagem called Brotherhood of Veterans, which allows them to use any chapter or successor tactic for a turn. White Scars advance and charge, Fists exploding 6s, Ultramarines fall back and shoot, all possible in the Deathwatch. much of the Deathwatch revolves around kill teams, so as a final one, it is worth mentioning the specialisms, which allow wound rerolls against certain battlefield rules. Units like Inceptors or Hellblasters become a lot more deadly when they get anything from rerolling once to rerolling all wound rolls. The latter is achieved by stacking a specialism with the Deathwatch chapter tactics. Before going to the obligatory wrap-up, I want to take a moment and comment on gotchas themselves. My own understanding is that people have mixed opinions about exactly how much you should reveal to your opponent. Some are in favor of basically spilling all the beans, while others think that only a minimum amount of information should be revealed. Personally, I consider myself more of the former category, but I also reserve the right to adjust based on the opponent. Either way, the kind of gotchas I mentioned are the kind of things I would point out prior to the game and expect to be told in return. But that's just me, of course. To wrap things up, over the course of the video, I have presented you guys 5 gotchas of the Deathwatch that I consider essential. The first gotcha is the Endometer Kill Team Castle, which combines mixed Gravis units with powerful protective buffs and can go as far as not only withstanding a decent amount of firepower, but also stopping charge attempts in their tracks. The second gotcha are the various ways for the Deathwatch to teleport around the battlefield. These include giving teleport strike to units that would otherwise not have it, creative use of the Terminator's teleport Homer, as well as the Beacon and Chalice relic. The third gotcha is their synergy with Dreadnoughts, which you would more commonly expect from other chapters. Deathwatch can give a 5+ invul bubble to core Dreadnoughts, such as the popular Redemptor, and they can maximize the usage of the Devastator Doctrine by freely picking the Doctrine order, as well as setting one unit back to a previous Doctrine. The fourth gotcha is the Infantry Bikes. Basically, whenever you see the Firstborn Bikers or the Outriders in a Deathwatch army, expect them to interact with terrain the same way as regular infantry. The fifth gotcha is a random mixture of a few commonly seen ones. Spectre's kill teams with up to 5 eliminators or cheap reavers to spread omni-scramblers from the infiltrators. Proteus kill teams with a black shield that punches like a captain and allows the whole kill team to heroically intervene. Xenophage / captains ignoring invul saves. Deathwatch borrowing chapter tactics such as White Scar's advance and charge, or the Fists exploding sixes, or kill teams having access to specialisms, which allows them access to wound rerolls that would otherwise require a lieutenant. All in all, it's not just the Xenos factions that should be worried about encountering the Deathwatch. So that's it for the gotcha guide to the Deathwatch in 9th edition. What kind of gotcha moments have you guys encountered both with as well as against Deathwatch? Have I missed any important gotchas that are even better than the ones I mentioned? Let me know in the comments. Finally, I would also like to mention that there is a SwissHammer Facebook page where I will be posting links to my videos as well as articles I find of interest. I do read a lot about the hobby, but not all of it will always end up as its own video. I look forward to seeing you there as well. I do also have a Patreon page. If you like my content, any additional support is greatly appreciated as it helps me invest into future videos. As always, thank you very much for watching, guys. Your continued support is greatly appreciated. I hope you have been enjoying this video. Give me a thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thanks again and see you next time.